From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Khambrell Marshall.
All of our elections are important, of course, but the 2020 election season is especially worthy of attention with the presidential choices on the ballot. Along with president will be plenty of other local issues we'll need to be aware of. Normally, we find that information on our county election website, but the problem is a recent report revealed that as many as 80% of county election websites are not secure and vulnerable to hacking and more. The report revealing those issues was done by the League of Women Voters of Texas. Joining me this morning, Rita Hicks with the League of Women Voters of Houston. And this is a very interesting report. Talk about this. What was the genesis? Why did this report get done?
Well, one of the League of Women Voters' missions is to ensure that voters have the right information to be able to cast their ballot on Election Day. So the State League was motivated by that concern to make sure that the resources being provided to people were accurate and up to date. And so they looked at a number of different dimensions, some of them just the nature of the website itself, and some of them the information that the websites were conveying. Is it accurate and is it understandable?
And when they did that, they found out that in addition, that while they were looking for information things, they found out that they were vulnerable to outside influence.
Yes, that's right. Well, so there are secure websites and unsecure websites, and the way you can tell is whether it's HTTP or there's an S on the end. And so that was the threshold question they asked, is how many of them are actually secured websites? And it turns out that over 70% of them aren't. Additionally, a lot of the particularly smaller counties have .net or .info websites, and they're simply not as secure as .gov or .com websites that redirect to .gov, like Harris Votes, for instance.
So what's the biggest problem with having it? I mean, what are the big concerns about not having a site that may be secure?
Well, it's not only secure, but also verified. So you know you can trust the information that you're reading. If a site is vulnerable to hacking, you don't know whether it's providing the right information as a voter or not. And then officials also can't be certain that the information they put yesterday is still the same today if it's tamperable.
So as a result of that report, I know it got attention from a lot of people, which is what it should have done.
That's right.
What is being done now, and whatever you're being told is a timetable for what may be done to correct that issue?
Well, in response to the report, the governor's office did say that resources are being allocated over the course of this year, approximately $24 million, to help counties get their websites to the place they need to be ahead of the November 2020 elections. There's simply not enough time to address all of it before the primaries, but it is being worked on.
Right.
And I think that certainly the league chapters in each of these counties will be a resource to help with that, and in coordination with Austin.
And so voters beware as you go through these, anything. If you don't see the secure at the end of it, you should know, just kind of be extra careful.
Yes, that is one thing. And then the other is there are always third-party verification sources. So the Vote 411, which is the league's website, also has voter information. And we work closely in each chapter in our county to make sure that the information our county is providing is accurate.
And I think the good news about all of this, for us anyway, is that when you looked at when the report looked at all the websites, that they were typically in counties that weren't the large counties. Counties like Harris and Fort Bend and those counties that are in our region primarily are okay?
Yes, so what the league did was grade, and each different concern was allocated points, and all of Fort Bend, Montgomery, and Harris County received excellent ratings. So what that means is that voters in this area can feel sure the information they're getting from their county websites is correct.
And that's a good thing.
That
really is good. There are some other issues perhaps that the county and other places can get. That's another whole topic at another time. So for those people who don't know, the League of Women Voters has been around for a long time, and you are nonpartisan. You don't take sides. You make sure that you do everything you can not to take sides. What is the mission of the League?
It's actually threefold. One is to help get voters registered, empower voters. And so, for instance, we run voter registration drives at all naturalization ceremonies. In Houston alone, we registered over 31,000 voters in 2019. Wow. Secondly is providing voters information about the candidates on their ballot through our voter guide and through forums that we curate with KPRC and other partners. And then the third is making sure that the information voters get about how to vote is correct. So the information on county websites, We do phone banks on election day to get people to the polls. So empowering voters, educating voters, and then getting them to the polls. That's our mission.
You are incredibly important right now because of the deep, deep divisions that we are in, the partisan divide, if you will. It seems that the League of Women right now is more important than ever for people who want a source for basic information that is not partisan in nature, correct?
I think everybody is looking to figure out the truth, and what I love about the information we put out is we ask candidates questions, we publish the information in their own words. We don't edit anything. So when you're reading whatever a candidate puts in our guide, you're reading what they are saying about themselves. And so I think that, and we try very hard to make the information comparative. So all the candidates are being asked the same questions. You can look across the different answers and decide, who do I agree with? Because these people are telling me what they think.
Of course, the goal is, of course, to get voters to want to do it. There's
That's right.
apathy a lot of times it doesn't do that. For somebody who wants to volunteer for the League, are you guys always looking for volunteers?
Absolutely. If you're interested in volunteering for the Houston League, you can visit lwvhouston.org, and there's all kinds of information there. We also have sister leagues in Fort Bend County and Montgomery County. If you go to lwvtexas.org, you can search for those URLs.
Good deal. You guys do great work, Rita. Thank you. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for the role that the League of Women Voters plays in helping us have honest elections. We thank you for what you do. Just ahead, when is a new grocery store more than just a new grocery store? When it changes the way people in the community are able to get fresh food. We'll talk to a council member who helped make that happen and why HEB decided to open in that community when Houston Newsmakers continues. You know, by the size of the crowd, you would have thought there was a concert or a big sale going on, but it was something much longer lasting than a concert. A new HEB store opened last week on McGregor near 288. The 90,000 square foot store dwarfs the much smaller store that closed December 17th. The big significance of the store opening is that it's opening in what is described as a food desert of sorts. Here this morning to talk about the big event and what it means for the community, Councilmember Dwight Boykins, whose District D the store is located, Lisa Helfman, the Director of Public Affairs. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Councilmember, this is something you've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah.
Been in the works. What was going on the political side to try to make this happen? Because the city had to get involved to help make this happen, did it?
Yeah, it went through two transitions of mayors. It started under Mayor Anise Parker when I went and talked to her about the ideal of addressing food deserts in our areas, because we also have a pie burn store in our district, a little smaller store. And then when Mayor Turner came in, the ball was passed over to him to get it across the finish line with the federal government, because it's a public-private partnership.
What does that mean in terms of how did it come together? Because you had to work to get all the entities to come together to get the property, to do whatever it had to take place to make the property ready for building, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Houston Community College owned the land at one point, and so we had to partner but bring in Houston Community College, Houston Finance Corp, and HEB. And I'm so appreciative, man. I really am, for HEB stepping up for our community. But the three came together, and we had to come up with a financing structure that would take the debt off of the city's books. Houston Housing Finance Corp is currently holding the debt, and HEB has a long-term agreement with the city.
So, Lisa, tell me about, at what point did it make good business sense for HEB to come into this community and do what it's done, basically?
You know, this was a particularly good site for us in that it was regional, right? It was right on 288. We felt that we could serve the community in a new way. Our store at OST and Scott was really too small to serve the community and not regional enough to serve everyone. So we looked at the area and we thought, the Med Center, they need a grocery store. The Museum District and all the new high-rises, they need a grocery store. The McGregor area, 3rd Ward, the universities, University of Houston, TSU, nobody had a grocery store. And we knew that if we could find a regional spot that would serve everyone, we could come in and make it work.
Did your plans for that store get bigger as you analyze it a little bit more? Did you kind of say, well, okay, let's make it a little bit bigger? So where did you start and where did you finish?
We did. We maxed out as many square feet as we could put on that site. So we started in the 70,000 range, 75,000, and when we opened, as you said, we're at 90,000 square feet. We knew the community wanted diversity in the products, and we are putting our biggest Meal Simple program, so our grab and go that's become very popular at the stores, is literally the biggest Meal Simple program in the company. So we wanted to have plenty of square feet for that, for people staying in the medical center, people working in the area, high-rise, families on the go, students.
So 90, what does that mean? Is that kind of, is that a bigger than normal size for the newest HEBs that are opening now? Or is it about where the kind of size you're going with now?
So we've recently opened the 2 in the Heights, right? Shepherd and 23rd, and then Washington Avenue and Heights Boulevard, and they're right in the 90s. So they're all about the same size. But the one in Bel Air, for example, is a little bit smaller. The one on Buffalo Speedway, about the same size there. So we are going to try to max out what we can put on the site and bring you as many groceries as possible.
We're king of the jungles, in other words.
You know what? You know what? The one good thing about that is that it's a long-term payoff for that community. As you talk about, we sometimes get complacent or don't understand what it means to not have that kind of access to that kind of grocery output. It was something that was really stuck in your craw for a long time. I know you personally, you talked about this for a long time.
Khambrell, you have sort of kept an eyeball on this for years, too. We've had the conversation, and you know and understand the impact of unhealthy and quality food. And, you know, growing up in that area, and the only grocery stores we had were convenience stores, and where you had high cholesterol, diabetic type products, to have a HEB to come in that was service the most diverse part of the city of Houston, from income to racial lines, and to bring in quality food, it's going to address, and I think from a medical perspective, it's going to reduce those type of ailments. So I'm excited about it, man, and I just can't thank HEB and this lady enough.
I've heard the mayor talk about the fact that, you know, where there are opportunities like this in other areas of the city, they want to try to take advantage of it if it's appropriate.
One thing, let me add to that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the mayor and I talked about it. The financing structure of this particular store is unlike no other, because the partnership with the public-private partnership will allow payments to be put in similar like an escrow account that will then build up to allow them to build another grocery store in a food desert area. So I give Mayor Turner a lot of credit for that.
Is that just for anybody? I mean, or is that going to be available for other grocers, or just? I
only know HEB. I don't know nobody else. I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else.
Lisa, without giving any secrets about your business plan, but does your company? Are you looking at this to see how successful it may be? Because you get all of this fresh and convenient and available meals, and to a community that hasn't had quite this much. Do you look for other communities that may need this, or are you going to look and see how successful? Everything's got to be based upon business. Yeah. So you want to see how well this does, and maybe look for other opportunities like this, perhaps?
Yes. You know, we are always looking to bring food access to everyone in the community, right? We have now, I think McGregor is the 100th store in the Houston market, in the Houston region for us. We started, you know, years ago bringing those small pantry stores, and then we started growing and growing and growing to the footprints you see today. We, you know, are a low price leader, and we're very proud of that. And in order to do that, we look at density, and we look at where people don't have access to food and where we can come in and do more sales. And so we're always looking to expand. HEB is in a large expansion mode. We built many stores this year. We have another one coming right after the new year in Meyerland that we're particularly excited about. And, you know, a community that flooded in the middle of us working on that deal. But we knew they needed a grocery store.
So now you're getting ready to step out of office as a council member. As you step out, and as we're going into the new year, we look back at that, and that probably has to be one of the things that you're most proud of in terms of what you've done. Or can you tell me what, when you look back on your service as council?
Absolutely. We, you know, first of all, I'm grateful for the team I had with me. But let me say this to you. Not only it's a grocery store will address health care issues, food desert issues, but it's also bringing an economic impact where people now, I think they hired up to 400 additional employees. You know, you're going to have companies that's participating through the procurement process. HEB brought on, a lot of people don't know this, but an African-American distributor that distributes water. And they're out the Third Ward area, and they gave them an opportunity. And I think they had 26 stores now. And so, yes, I'm proud of that, but I'm also proud that we address issues for seniors. Khambrell, where we fixed over 607 homes. HEB participated and supported that effort for us. We have a second chance program. You know, I'm big on that. well, we've changed many lives of people who made mistakes and need second chance. But I'm just grateful that the residents gave me this opportunity, and I hope I represented them well.
Well, congratulations on your tenure on council. Good luck as you go forward in your new endeavors, and I look forward to having you back at some point when you get ready to talk about it. Lisa, always good to see you. Thank you for what you're doing on all levels. We appreciate you so much. You know, you're always welcome to come back.
Thank you. I love it. I'll take you up on that.
I know you will, too.
I know it.
All right, coming up, we've got a preview of a KPRC Investigates special report. Robert Arnold will be here to talk about the conditions he's finding on the border, and his findings might surprise you about the numbers of those trying to get into the country. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues.
Dealer.
We've seen the images for years, men, women, and children of all ages and from all regions trying to make their way across the southern border of the United States. It's been the focus of lawmakers for years and the basis upon which President Trump proclaimed that he would build a wall on that border to stem the flow of people, illegal and illegal, who want to enter into the United States. Well, it seems that policy is making a difference without a wall in place. KPRC Investigates reporter Robert Arnold has spent a lot of time covering the border region throughout the years and says there are big changes taking place right now. Robert is here to talk about what you've been able to see on your recent trip. You've been down there most recently. You have a report coming up Monday night. So let's talk about what kind of things you've seen there that really are a drastic change from what you've seen in previous trips.
Well, I mean, the immediate thing is just the decrease in the number of people seen coming across the border illegally. We were there over the summer, and things peaked in about May with 144,000, I'm going by memory, but about 144,000 people that were either apprehended crossing the border illegally or deemed inadmissible. That means they tried to enter the country at a legal point of entry, but were deemed inadmissible for one reason or another. Those numbers have gone down dramatically, I mean, significantly since that time in May. So when we went back in about middle of October is when we went back again, and we asked, it's like, okay, well, what's the difference now? A lot of that is going to be according to, and this is according to the Border Patrol agents that we worked with, was the migrant protection protocols that President Trump has put into place, as well as curtailing how you can apply for asylum. He says that's having an impact.
So when you say migrant protection protocols, what does that mean? MPP
means that if you're primarily, this was targeted Central American immigrants and families who would come across. So they would come across, they would apply for asylum, and they before would be released while their claims were pending in the United States. Now the migrant protection protocols, Central American immigrants who were filing for asylum are sent back to Mexico to wait for their asylum claims to be decided. Now, and I checked on that, and at the beginning of November, 57,000 Central American immigrants have been sent to Mexico. I've asked for an updated number as well under what's called the migrant protection protocols.
So Mexico is taking on a bigger burden in this.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they announced the end of catch and release. There was an official news release that came out from the Department of Homeland Security. Catch and release is over now. We are not going to catch you and then release you while your case works its way through. In most, I mean, there's going to be some exceptions to every rule, but in most cases, people are going to be sent back to Mexico.
So the people you've talked to down there, do they indicate that the catch and release program going away, the word gets down to people who are considering coming, they know that they can't come and get released into the community, and so that stopped a lot of them from coming?
Well, and I can tell you what I saw, I mean, with my own two eyes, that was different. Over the summer, tons, I mean, just tons and tons of families that were coming across, and they didn't try and run. They got across, they surrendered, everybody was peaceful and all. When we went back down mid-October, we didn't see family units anymore, and everybody was running. Everybody was trying to, I mean, in a short amount of time, we were in the middle of like 3 different chases with Border Patrol, because now those who were caught coming across the border are starting to run again. They're not surrendering like they used to, and we did not see the family units.
So we're going to see much more on your whole real report tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. And you've talked to how many people? You've talked to a number of people to try to put this report together, correct?
Oh, you know, one of the things that we're focusing on was more the enforcement side. You know, the number of criminal cases being filed. That's a little bit different than we've done before. And if you looked, I mean, it's gone up each year. I mean, immigration cases filed in federal criminal court have always been the bulk of the criminal cases filed in court. But those numbers continue to go up, especially when you have spikes like we did over the last summer. There are some differences, though. So we've spoken to an immigration attorney. We also spoke to former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Texas to find out how it's a little bit different now.
This is a tease. This is a tease. Looking forward to your report.
Thanks, Khambrell. I appreciate it. And early Happy New Year, bud.
Thank you, sir. You too. Just ahead, a look at next week's first Newsmakers of 2020, when we'll meet the man and his company behind millions donated to help in the fight against mental illness. When Houston Newsmakers continues. It's affecting millions of us, including many people you know. I'm talking about mental illness. If I were to pull up video of people being affected by mental illness, this is what it would look like. It would look like all of us. Because for the most part, you can't tell when a person is dealing with mental illness. Oh, we do see people living on the street and assume that they might be dealing with some form of mental illness, but that's just a guess. Next week, we'll meet a local man whose company is pouring tens of millions of dollars into the effort to help find ways to help those with mental illness and perhaps find out why some are impacted and others not. Also next week, a preview of an upcoming summit dealing with poverty in our region. More people are living in poverty than you might think. We'll talk about what's being done to change all of that. Thank you for your social media communications with me. You can follow me on Twitter at KPRC2, Khambrell, hashtag HOU Newsmakers. You've been good about sending subjects or stories you'd like for me to take on through email. I love getting their input there. That's at Houston Newsmakers at click2houston.com. Remember, if you want to see this program again, or if you want to look at previous Houston Newsmakers shows, go to click2houston.com. Under the news banner, click on Newsmakers. I want to thank you again to my guest this morning and always to you for watching. I look forward to seeing you back here again next week. Let's look forward to a great 2020. See you next time.